And welcome to the Falcon Football Pregame Show, where we will be talking about today's very climactic Battle of I-75. I'm your host, Kevin Hutchinson, and I'm joined today by Scott Siegel. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really excited to be here. This is the matchup of the season.
For
This
sure.
is going to be a lot of fun.
For sure. Excited to have you. This is going to be
you.
great. We're going to have plenty of analysis, plenty of stats, plenty of insights, plenty of theories, philosophies coming your way today. But first, in order to understand where these two teams are, we have to look at where they came from. Both teams coming off of bye weeks, so they're going to be rested. They're going to be prepared. They're going to be rearing to go.
Yes.
BG's result 2 weeks ago was a loss to the reigning MAC champions, the Ohio University Bobcats. They ended up losing that game 35-20. The Falcon offense suffered 4 turnovers, which obviously is not ideal. The Ohio offense was aggressive. Ohio quarterback Parker Navarro just had his way with the Falcon defense. And there were some good plays, including that passing touchdown you just saw. But overall, BG was stifled by the Ohio defense. Didn't have that many answers in that game. It's a bit less painful knowing that it was the reigning MAC champions, but still not a great effort to put up ahead of a rivalry game.
Yeah, I definitely think there were some holes in the defense.
For sure.
I think that was probably the biggest issue that Bowling Green faced in that game is just not covering.
Definitely. I mean, there was one instance of broken coverage where an Ohio receiver just walked in for a wide open touchdown that didn't even get touched. That's something BG, I'm sure, has worked on in practice over the past 2 weeks. Now, the concerning thing, as I said, is that Toledo also has the advantage of having had a bye week. They trounced the University of Akron Zips in Akron 2 weeks ago, winning that game 45-3.
It was an absolute shutdown.
Absolute shutdown. Akron had no answers for what Toledo was able to do offensively. Tucker Gleason, Toledo's quarterback, had 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, and Toledo running back Chip Trainum just had a day with the Akron defense. You see him there cutting through it like a hot knife through butter. Oh, my mistake. The game was at Toledo, actually, but it doesn't seem to matter where Toledo plays. That offense knows how to roll, and they certainly put on a show for their home crowd in that game. Taking a brief look at both of our quarterbacks going into today, as I mentioned, Tucker Gleason coming off a 4-touchdown game. Gleason, for his part, started his career at Georgia Tech, transferred to Toledo, was the backup there. Yes, he did redshirt and took on full-time starting duties last season. So, Scott, what do you think is going to be a key for the BG defense in terms of slowing down Tucker Gleason?
Well, I think one of the most important things that we will have to focus on is just covering your man. Man coverage is so important when going up against an offense like Toledo. I mean, really. Just having your feet planted and ready for that ball to come.
For sure, and I know that you were a defensive lineman in high school. You're going to be looking for those guys to get in the gaps and make plays.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be key, certainly, for slowing down a guy like Gleason. And what I noticed about Gleason, too, he has more of the traditional, 70s or 80s, body type of those old school quarterbacks. He is a big guy, broad shoulders, huge arms and hands. Yeah. Certainly a guy who knows how to take a hit. And so that BG defense is going to have to be very physical with him today. Now, in speaking of quarterbacks and quarterbacks who have transferred, Falcon quarterback Drew Pyne is no stranger to having transferred. This is actually his 4th collegiate stop. He started his career with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. After that, he transferred to Arizona State, where he threw a touchdown pass to Cam Skattebo, which, for those who don't know, Cam Skattebo is currently playing for the New York Giants and had 3 touchdowns against the Eagles on Thursday night. So certainly a high-profile player that Pyne has shared the field with. And last year, he spent some time in the SEC at Missouri. Now, making a start at quarterback in the SEC is no easy task. I mean, you're going up against NFL defenders every game. A lot of pressure. I mean, he went up against Alabama, went up against some very good programs, and he comes to BG with 1 more year of eligibility after this season. But I think it's fair to say that with his performance so far, whether the Falcons are going to bring him back is up to interpretation, and how he does today is going to play a big role in determining his future here, I think. And also, I mean, just looking at his performance so far this season, he has 4 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. Scott, what do you think is going to be a key for Pine in terms of cleaning up those errors and playing more disciplined football today?
Yeah, I think just making sure that we are focusing on progressive offense. Just making sure that these routes are clean, that we're staying clear of defenders is going to be very important for our success.
Definitely, and you want to have that incremental offense that's able to march down the field,
yes,
pick up a key first down. You want that offense to be successful on third down, which is something that was not really seen in the last 2 contests against Louisville and then against Ohio 2 weeks ago.
Bowling Green's going to have to show Toledo that we can be a powerful offense.
For sure. Now let's take a look at both of these guys' stats side by side, a little bit of a quarterback comparison. Tucker Gleason has completed 62.7% of his throws compared to Drew Pines at 64.4%. Gleason has 925 pass yards. Pine has 830. Passing touchdowns is the big disparity here. Gleason has 7. Pine only has 4. And in terms of interceptions, Gleason has thrown 3 picks while Drew Pine has thrown 5. And all 5 of Drew Pine's interceptions came in those last 2 starts. 2 of them against Louisville and 3 of them against the Bobcats. So obviously something that Pine is going to be looking to clean up going into this game. Obviously we have 2 veterans, 2 transfers, 2 guys who have a history of being able to elevate a program. Let's see how they can do today. But in our next segment, we're going to take a look at the special teams unit, which Eddie George calls Special Forces, and see why they've been so impactful this season. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, we need to talk about the special teams unit, or as head coach Eddie George likes to call them, Special Forces. And Special Forces, they have been indeed. Bowling Green kicker Jackson Cleather is tied for 3rd in the country, not in the MAC, not in the group of 5, in the country, with 12 field goals made. That is including all FBS schools. That's including your Alabamas, your Penn States, your Ohio States. Jackson Cleather is still tied for 3rd with 12 field goals made. He is a perfect 10 for 10 on extra point attempts, and a 56-yarder was his longest field goal this season. That's like an NFL distance when it comes to field goals. Also, we would be remiss to not talk a little bit about the return game. BG's main kick returner Cameron Petaway, he's 4th in the country with 336 return yards, but of course, Cleather has been a big factor as well. What do you think special teams needs to do today in order to shine, especially in such a high-pressure environment?
I think just taking your time is going to be really important today. It is a big presence. It's a big crowd. There's going to be a lot of action going on in the stadium, which could distract special teams. But I think if there's a big focus on slowing things down, focusing on getting the ball moving, I think we'll do just fine.
Definitely, and obviously you want to be disciplined. I mean, in a close game like this, I do think it's going to be a close game. 1 field goal or 1 extra point can decide the entire affair. So doubtless, Jackson Cleather is going to be focused. He's going to be locked in, and he's going to be ready. He has arguably been the most consistent player at any position on this BG football team. He's just been an absolute baller through these first few weeks. And so we will be looking to see how special teams does today. I mean, what do you think, Scott, is just the role in special teams that plays in a game?
I think it's just overall important.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just special teams in general is a huge part of any football game.
Definitely. And in a moment here, we are going to be taking a look at the impact players, not only for BG, but also for Toledo, coming up in just 1 second.
moms and dads. We know it's not always been easy, and it's been a lot of hard work. What you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
Everything I do it for you.
Mom, love you always.
No, it's true. Everything I do it for
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Now, of course, we have a little trivia question about the Battle of I-75. The trivia question, you guys will have some time to guess. We'll give you the answer in the next segment. But what was the name of the original Battle of I-75 trophy? Take some time to ponder. Don't Google it.
Great question.
Actually take a guess. It is a great question, and it is certainly a big part of Falcon history. Now, of course, in order to talk about a rivalry game, you got to talk about the players who are going to be on the field. And so for that reason, we're taking a look at a couple of the impact players for both of these teams. Now, the first impact player for BG, we already mentioned him. It's kicker Jackson Cleather. He is going to have to be sharp today. This is going to be a big spot for him. Probably the biggest spot of his career
so far,
in terms of performing, definitely.
Yes.
And I also want to talk a bit about wide receiver Finn Hoehn. Now, Finn Hoehn has a big social media following, the biggest on the team.
Over 200,000, correct?
Yes, he has a lot of followers, but he's also a good performer on the football field. He's 6'5", great on contested catches. He's a great downfield threat. He's just going to have to get activated. How do you think that the BG offense should try to put him in position to make some plays?
I think putting Hoehn in position would mean just getting that ball downfield, just overall yardage. You know, I think that's going to be the most important thing about today, is seeing that ball move side to side down the field.
Definitely. And you certainly want Finn Hoehn to get involved when it comes to those long bombs, when it comes to flipping the field. And that's something we haven't seen a lot of from this BG offense. We've seen a lot of laterals. We've seen a lot of passes of 10 yards or less. We haven't seen a lot of big shots being taken downfield. But Hoehn, I mean, he's sort of the full package, as you see there. He can block. He can make receptions. He can really be a game changer in this game. And I think whatever Eddie George's game plan is, they have to incorporate this guy. You got to use your weapons.
Yeah. I think it's okay for Bowling Green's offense to be able to take more of a risk, especially on a game like this, facing Toledo's defense. I think it's going to be important that we kind of experiment a little bit with the ball.
Definitely. And you want to get, when it comes to playmakers like Hoehn, you want to get them in space. You want to get them in places where they can rack up yards after catch, places where they can really dice through a defense. He only had 3 receptions versus Ohio, but he averaged 17 yards per reception. So if he's averaging a first down every time he touches the ball, he should be targeted probably 8, 9, 10 times in this game, if not more, just because he is probably the most physically dominant receiver on this BG team.
Yes.
But of course, if we're going to talk about BG, we have to talk about Toledo, those rivals up to the north and their impact players. Taking a look at their running back, Chip Trainum. Now, in addition to having a great football player name, Trainum is sort of the engine of this Rockets offense. He's averaging 6.3 yards per carry and has 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. I mean, that's really just a dynamic presence. You can see him here dicing through some other opponents like Akron. He's just great. You see him breaking a couple tackles there, going up the sideline. I mean, this is just an explosive guy, a guy who really just bends defenses to his will.
He's great at getting that ball downfield. I mean,
for sure. And so when it comes to BG, just being able to stop this guy, what do you think BG can do? You know, there are some injuries on defense. Dorian Pringle, the star linebacker, is out for the year. How is BG going to be able to stop such a dynamic motor like his?
I think with Bowling Green's defense, it's going to be important to just focus on the defensive line itself to be able to fill those gaps. You know, having someone with experience in the defensive side of football, I will say to be able to stop a run game, it all is within the defensive line. So that's really where we need to shine today to be able to stop those runs.
For sure, and I'm sure that Eric George, the son of Eddie George, he's on the defensive line and he'll be looking to make some plays. He had 2 sacks in the homecoming game against Liberty. He'll be looking to reproduce some of that production because you can see from these highlights, Chip Trainum is an absolute beast. I mean, look at him just carving up that Akron defense. Now, the other impact player we're looking at for Toledo is going to be wide receiver Junior Vanderas. He is one of their main playmakers. He has 28 straight games with a reception. That's the kind of consistency you look for in a player that you want to construct your offense around. In the last game, he had 122 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. I mean, this guy is just an absolute monster, especially after the catch.
Stat.
For sure, it is quite the stat line. I mean, look at him on this play. Boom, easy buckets into the end zone for the TD. And obviously, Akron, one of the worst teams in the MAC, but Junior Vanderas is going to be looking to make plays against BG today. When it comes to these wide receivers, these dynamic wide receivers, how do you want to see the defensive secondary, you know, those cornerbacks, safeties, how do you want to see them react to a guy like Vanderas?
I think just having a wider view, just having a wider vision on the field, where the ball's coming, you know, your peripherals, I think that's going to be really important for Bowling Green secondaries, just to be able to keep that ball contained.
For sure, and I think
potentially some interceptions even.
Well, that would certainly be nice for this Falcon team. And as you saw from those highlights, Vanderas loves to play the sideline. He has a lot of explosive speed once he gets out in space, something that the Falcon D is going to try to address. Now, of course, every game that you analyze, you have to look at the keys to the game for each team. You know, the things that are really going to contribute to success for BG and for Toledo. I think BG's main key is going to be to win the turnover battle, you know, take care of the ball. Obviously suffering 4 turnovers against the reigning MAC champions. This Toledo defense is just going to feast on Falcon errors. You have to limit those errors. You have to take care of the ball. I mean, what do you think just when it comes to ball security for this team?
I think Bowling Green being able to just keep eyes on the ball at all times, fumbles, anything of the sort, any technical difficulties, just being able to cover that ball will definitely keep us on top for turnovers.
Definitely. I know that most football coaches preach ball security is job security.
They drill it into your head.
Exactly. And Bill Belichick famously said, you know, ball security is job security.
Absolutely.
Obviously, at the college level, they're not employees technically, but one fumble in the wrong spot and you can lose your starting job. And so that is a big deal really for everybody who touches the ball in this game. You've got to have those 5 points of contact and you've got to keep that contained. Now, looking at Toledo's main key for the game, they are going to want to just control the line of scrimmage and also take care of the ball on their end. They're going to want to establish that run with Chip Trainum, you know, minimizing mistakes. Chip Trainum is averaging this is amazing by Chip Trainum, 212 rushing yards per game. Wow. They are going to want to ground and pound with their weapons and obviously just take care of the ball because this BG defense got 4 turnovers against Liberty last month, showed that they can be opportunistic. So this Toledo team is going to want to play tight football, disciplined football, and really avoid making some of those mistakes that can cost you a game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very fast-paced. It's going to be exciting.
For sure, and I do think this is going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be close. But of course, we promised you an answer to that trivia question, and that should be coming up here in a moment. The name of the original I-75 trophy, that will be coming up in our next segment right after this. All right, now the answer to that trivia question, hopefully you didn't Google it or chat GPT it or whatever, but the answer is that the original trophy was actually the peace pipe. Now that is not only does that roll off the tongue, but that just sounds like a fun trophy, you know, the peace pipe.
Yeah, it does. And I'm sure a lot of you watching probably already knew that, especially if you are historically Bowling Green fans.
Yes, for sure, for sure. It's not called the peace pipe anymore, but just a little special bit of Falcon history. Now, of course, BG is a MAC school. Being BG reporters, we care about the entire MAC, obviously, because it is, in my humble opinion, one of the more fun conferences in college football.
It's all about that MACtion.
There are 5 MAC games going on today, so I thought we would just go over what our picks were and what our analysis was when it comes to the winners of those games, starting with Miami at Akron. Now, I took a look at these games. I examined their records. I examined their performances previously. Give me the Miami Redhawks here. They're 11.5-point betting favorites in this game, and they're coming off a road victory against the Northern Illinois Huskies. As we saw in those Toledo-Akron highlights, Akron had no answer for that Rocket offense 2 weeks ago, and I don't think those errors are going to be cleaned up just after a little bit of practice. I think Akron's in trouble today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Miami is historically a great defense within the MAC conference. We've seen that for decades. I think there could be a significant advantage against a low-scoring Akron offense.
Definitely. And I think we should probably save our Battle of I-75 picks for the end. Going over the other MAC games first, we have Northern Illinois traveling to Eastern Michigan. Now, the Eastern Michigan Eagles, they are going to be at home. And they lost narrowly to Buffalo in overtime last week. Give me the Eastern Michigan Eagles in a slight upset at home against the Huskies. What do you think?
You know, I think it was interesting. It was just an interesting game.
For sure. What's your pick? Who's going to come out on top in this game?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's tough.
Yeah.
For sure.
What about you?
Like I said, I certainly think that Eastern Michigan is going to be key. I think we discussed you were backing Northern Illinois, isn't that right?
Yeah. I just think Northern Illinois' offense it usually relies on a good game. You know, just as long as everything is going according to plan, usually their offense is pretty stout.
So you think they're going to pick up a road win in Ypsilanti today?
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Moving on now to UMass at Kent. UMass is the only winless team in the MAC, currently sitting at 0-5, and they travel to Kent to take on the Golden Flashes. I have Kent taking care of business here at home. I was just looking at UMass's record. They've only scored more than 10 points in a game once this season, and they just got housed by Western Michigan at home 21-3. I don't think they're going to clean up those errors after just 1 week of practice. Give me Kent in this game.
Yeah. I'll also have to agree with you on that. I just think Kent State is more of an established MAC program. It just has a deeper history. I think their offense is a little bit neater. So I think it's going to be, honestly, a pretty big disparity.
Big win for Kent State. We'll see. Well, maybe if they play their game, it won't even be close. And also, we have to take a look at another MAC matchup today. I think this is one of the harder ones to predict. Ball State at Western Michigan. Ooh. I think these are two good teams, but give me Ball State. Evenly matched. But give me Ball State, and here's why. The Cardinals just shocked the reigning MAC champs, the Ohio University Bobcats, beating them 20-14 in last week's contest. This is after the Bobcats rolled over Bowling Green the previous week. I just think the Cardinals have the tools. They have what they need. Their quarterback, Kyle Kelly, led the team in rushing last week with 96 yards. I mean, if your quarterback is not only passing the ball, but also leading the team in rushing, I mean, we're looking at like a Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton type of situation.
Yeah.
And that's just hard for defenses to stop.
Yeah, honestly, I'm actually going to have to disagree with you on that. I think Western Michigan is going to win over Ball State.
Wow.
And the reason I am saying that is because Western Michigan has a solid rushing attack, which is honestly key to controlling the clock.
So you think they're just going to play some ground and pound football, wear the clock down, sort of wear the Cardinals into submission there?
Absolutely.
Interesting. That'll be a fascinating game to see. And of course, we saved this for the end. But Toledo at BGSU, the Battle of I-75, my pick. A lot of people might be upset about this, but you know, journalists, we have to be objective. My pick is actually Toledo. I know. But
tough one.
My explanation for that being the Rockets just routed Akron 45-3. Tucker Gleason has been the better quarterback all season. And in their first week of the season, they traveled to Lexington to take on the University of Kentucky, and they only lost that game by 8 points. So if you're going up against an SEC opponent,
yes,
only losing by 8 points, I just think this team has the fundamentals. I think Bowling Green is still a little raw in this first season under Eddie George. I think they're still working out some kinks offensively, defensively. BG has the better special teams unit, don't get me wrong, but I think on both offense and defense, the Rockets are stronger, and I think they come away with a narrow victory at the Deutsch today.
Yeah, you know, funny enough, just being a Bowling Green fan in general, just going to the school, I have to pick Bowling Green. I gotta give one for the people out there. You know, I think the biggest reason why I'm picking Bowling Green is just for the rivalry, just the fact that this is historically such a competitive game. It's such a competitive day in the MAC sports. You know, just Bowling Green being the underdog in this situation. Yes, Toledo has a lot of momentum coming out of that Akron game with such a win, but I'm hoping to see some special plays today.
For sure. Maybe special forces are really going to show up with some game-changing moments today. Well, there you have it. That is our Falcon football pregame show. Thank you guys so very much for joining us, for taking time out of your morning. I know there were a lot of things you could have chosen to do, so thank you for choosing to spend about 25 minutes with us today. And be sure to either attend the game, watch the game, experience the game, because this is going to be a major matchup, probably the biggest of BG's entire season.
Yes.
Scott, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
And we will see you sometime down the road. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.